All right, so here's a video for notes 8-4 frequency distributions. I'm not going to record on my iPad this time. I'm just going to use the camera to fill this out. So here's some survey data that someone took asking students what their grade level was and what their favorite meal at lunchtime was. So we're going to make what's called a frequency distribution, which is basically a way to represent categorical data on a chart. So the first question asks, the first variable is grade level, identify the groups for this variable. So if we look, we were only asking 9th and 10th graders. So in terms of what are the groups, it's going to be 9th and 10th graders. Second question says the second variable is favorite meal. Identify the groups for this variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to look under favorite meal and see what different types were stated. So we see salad bar, burgers, I see pizza, and then lastly chicken nuggets. Okay, so now it says create a two-way frequency table of the data. So this is called a marginal two-way frequency table because it has the totals. So it says enter the name of each group. So we're going to put grade level here. So that's going to be 9 and 10. And then we're going to put the favorite meals up here. So this is salad, burgers, pizza, and chicken. Then it says record the favorite meal for each group using tally marks, or you can just count them. Then we're going to write the frequency of each meal for each grade level. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go down this list and we're basically going to tally. So the first one says 9th grade salad bar. So 9th grade salad bar, that's 1. Next says 10th grade burgers. So a 10th grader who likes a burger. 10th grade pizza. And we're just going to keep going down this list. 10th grade chicken nuggets. So I'm going to pause the video and finish doing that. Okay, so now I've tallied it up. I will say it is kind of hard to do this. So what I probably recommend doing is like highlighting all the 9th graders in one color, doing all the 9th grade, and then highlighting all the 10th graders in another color. Okay, so now that I have my tally mark, so now we know that there's 5 9th graders who like salad, 4 who like burgers, 3 who like pizza, 1 who like chicken, and then 4 would like salad, 3 burgers, 3 pizza, and 7 chicken. So now we can get the totals. We're just going to add all the way across. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is 7, 10, 17 for a total of 30 students. And then we can add the same thing down. 5 plus 9, or 5 plus 4 is 9, 4 plus 3 is 7, 3 plus 3 is 6, 1 plus 7 is 8. And then when we add these together, those should equal 30 as well. Let's just double check. Let's see, so 9, that's 16, 22 plus 8 is 30. Okay, so the columns should add up to 30 and the rows should add up to 30. So now we can answer these questions. How many 9th graders participated in the survey? Well, here are 9th graders. We see that 13, so 13 9th graders. How many students preferred burgers? So here's burgers. It looks like 7 students preferred burgers. Which meal did the least number of students say was their favorite meal? So if we're looking at all the meals, the least number of students, that looks to be pizza. So pizza was least preferred. Which meal did the least number of 9th graders say was their favorite meal? So looking under just 9th graders, that's going to be chicken. Which meal was the most favorite of all students? So looking here, if we're looking at all students together, that's going to be salad. And then lastly, the question is, which meal was the most favorite of 10th graders? So just looking at 10th graders, that's going to be chicken. Okay, so now let's talk about relative frequency distributions. So the difference between a relative frequency distribution and a frequency distribution is, so this right here is a frequency distribution. A relative frequency distribution describes these numbers as ratios or percents. So a relative or a frequency distribution uses counts, and a relative frequency distribution uses ratios or percents. So instead of being the count, the total, the number out of the total that's here, it would be written as a percent. So 20 over 280 would give us that percent. So it says construct a marginal, so the word marginal just means that there's totals columns here, a total row and a total column. It says construct a marginal relative frequency distribution of the data. Represent each ratio as a percent. So in order to do that, we're just going to divide by the total and then multiply by 100 to convert it to a percent. Okay, so for this first cell, we're going to do 20 divided by 280. So 20 divided by 280, and then we're going to multiply that by 100 to make it a percent. So we can say 7.14%, or we'll say 7.1%. Okay, the next one is 30. So we're going to do 30 divided by 280. 30 divided by 280, and then we're going to multiply by 100. That's going to be 10.7%. Okay, and you're going to do that for every cell here. So all of these numbers are going to be converted to percentages by dividing by the total and multiplying by 100 to convert it to a percent. So I'm going to pause the video and do that. All right, so here we have all the percentages. So again, all I did was take each of these numbers and divide by the total, which is 280, and multiply by 100 to convert it to a percent. And remember, these totals should add up to the total 100%, and then our column total should also add up to 100%. So now we're going to use our marginal frequency distribution to answer these questions. So the first question says, which age group made up the smallest percent of people surveyed? So if we're looking at the age group here, the smallest percent is going to be students age 18 and older. Oh, our students, sorry, 18 years old and under. Second question says, which activity was preferred by the largest percent of people surveyed? So if we're looking at the activities in terms of the most preferred, that looks to be both movies and reading. Okay. Says what is the percentage of the most preferred activity? So that's going to be 29.3%. What percentage of people surveyed are adults over 50 years old who prefer movies or reading? So looking at adults over 50 years old, we want to see what percent preferred movies or reading. So movies or reading are going to be these two together. So we're going to add those together. 7.1 plus 12.5. 7.1 plus 12.5. That's going to be 19.6%. Okay. What percentage of students age 18 years old or under prefer sports or walking? So we're looking at students, sports or walking. So sports or walking would be 7.1 plus 2.9. So 7.1 plus 2.9 is going to be 10%. So 10% of students prefer sports or walking. Okay. Now it says analyze each of the given activities. Determine whether you think the activity would be a good idea to have during the summer. Use the data to justify your answer. So it says a walking club for community members aged 19 to 50. So let's look at 19 to 50 and see how many prefer walking. So that's actually the most preferred activity. So yes, that would be a good activity. So I would say yes, because it is the most preferred activity for this age group. And I'm actually going to say 15.4% prefer that. Now it says a soccer tournament for community members over the age of 60. So if we look over the age of 60, so that's basically going to be in this last group here. Soccer tournament, well, only 1.8% of people like sports. So that's probably not going to be the best activity. So no, because only 1.8% of people this age, or I'll say of like sports. So it's not, I was careful to say this, it's not 1.8% of people over the age of 50, it's 1.8% of everyone, but of that activity, it's the least preferred. So no, because only 1.8% like sports.